Alright guys, one of these days coming up here this week, I'm sure I'm going to have something to talk about besides Marathon. But that being said, right now it seems like the news coming in about Marathon, it just keeps on coming. There's no end in sight. So we're going to talk about it again today. This article here from PC Gamer says, honestly, I'm shocked, but Arc Raiders is a much more exciting extraction shooter than Marathon. Now this is something I've brought up multiple times on my videos, on some live streams. The reality is these games were not intentionally going head to head. I think it was just poor timing, unfortunate timing for Marathon that these games launched their alpha playtests right around the same time, because all of a sudden the energy for Marathon plummeted. Now again, I've talked about these numbers before and I want to talk about them again. The reality is we don't know the total numbers of people that Marathon allowed in for their playtest. Again, we don't know how many keys Bungie gave out for this game. All we know is they had a bunch of people initially at the playtest. They peaked about, the first day of the launch of the playtest, but within a couple of days, the player counts dwindled down to nothing. So again, it's not about the fact that we don't know how many people were allowed into the playtest. It's that ultimately there was no interest in it. Nobody cared. After a few days, this game couldn't get 1,000 people playing on the playtest. People checked it out and said, it's fine, it's all right, it's whatever. Whereas Arc Raiders was only had their playtest, I believe, April 30th through May 5th, and the numbers continued to skyrocket. Again, this could be a fact that Arc Raiders allowed more people into their playtest than Marathon. But the difference is the interest for Arc Raiders continued to escalate, whereas for Marathon, it completely bottomed out. Of course, Legacy Killer pointed out that yes, it's a closed alpha, yes, players are limited, but the drop-off should scare Bungie. I genuinely think they'll be delaying to 2026. Marathon needs work and reason to justify a price tag. This was a tweet from April 27th. The reason it's pertinent, as we'll see towards the end of this video, this is spot on. This is very prophetic, and we'll get back to this one in a second here. Then, of course, we had the recent allegations of plagiarism. This is not the first time Bungie has had to address these issues for various games, Destiny 2 being a big one, where they've stolen designs of several artists for their game and not given them credit, not compensated them, despite saying that they would take care of the artist, that they would do right by them. We have some evidence that they haven't, and we'll get to that in a second as well. So again, from Game Rant, Bungie addresses Marathon art plagiarism controversy. Bungie admitted to using artwork without permission in Marathon's alpha playtest, causing a delay in upcoming content. Bungie committed to removing disputed art and improving the review process to prevent future issues. Independent artist Anti-Real felt validated by evidence of plagiarism, but chose not to pursue legal action against Bungie. I think that was a massive miss. She certainly should have gone after Bungie because honestly, they've been following this person on social media for a while. Joseph Cross, the art director of the game, and several of the artists at Bungie have been following this person and clearly took not just inspiration from her art style, but lifted her own art and put it in the game and tried to change it a little bit enough, like hide her little words and signature essentially in the art to steal it, to not give her any credit for it. So of course, Pirate Nation pointed out a day ago that Marathon's official Discord was banning people simply for mentioning the real artist of the stolen art. This is not something I heard until I sat down to make this video tonight. But you can see from the Marathon official Discord, you have been banned. Notice from Marathon official, you've been banned from Marathon official due to a serious violation of our community guidelines. The decision was made to protect the integrity of our community and ensure a safe and respectful environment. Now, I cannot speak to the nature of what was posted. Again, I don't know who said what. I have to take this as, rumor, because essentially we don't know what this person said to get banned. But if this is because they shared the real art or the artist of, what was stolen, that's pretty insane that they would ban that person outright for that. So, of course, we had the Twitch stream where Joseph Cross and, of course, the game director himself sat down and had a little conversation. And this went just about as bad as you would have thought it would. But again, I'm going to play a little snippet of what Joseph Cross had to say about all this.
Great. And so to that extent, I want to send my personal apology to Anti-Real, whose work was used in this case. And I know how unfair this feels, and we're doing everything we can to make this right with her. Her work is fantastic, and we clearly share mutual appreciation for a specific genre of graphic design, and it's very exciting, and I'm excited to have folded that into our style in general. So thanks for listening. And
again, for full context, they didn't just take inspiration or share a similar art style. They took her designs and literally copied them, folded them into the game, and tried to scratch out her signature in some of them. Completely scummy behavior. But what else would you expect from Bungie after they pulled crap like this? Now, again, this is from a tweet from September of last year. I do not know if since this tweet, if they have actually taken care of this person or not, but this was a tweet from Destiny 2's team saying, "We've investigated this with our partner Nerf. We are currently in contact with the artists to make sure they are compensated and credited for their incredible artwork." This again going back to a stolen design for a Nerf gun that they took from this person, Julian Felona, who then tweeted afterwards in September, "I'm the artist whose artwork was used for the Witness cutscene from last year. It's been a year and I'm still waiting for that compensation you said will be given. Haven't heard a word since. I do not know if this person has been compensated." Again, this is just me looking at a tweet saying, as of September of last year, a year after the incident, they're claiming they were never compensated. So again, Anti-Real, don't trust Bungie to do right by you, because the reality is if you give them an inch, they're just going to take a mile. Of course, Meme Bastard pointing out, what is happening with Marathon Game, dude. This is wild. You can see again on the Twitch chat from this live stream, which is a brave but boneheaded idea by them to actually live stream talking about this. People are saying Concord 2, Concord 2, Concord 2, Arc Raiders is genius. This is rough. This is embarrassing. Here, just copy my homework. Change to sub-only chat. You guys are not the creators of Halo. Joseph, blink twice if you need help. This stream is bullshit. Why are you here? Game died before it came out. It just goes on and on and on. Now, of course, from Rock, Paper, Shotgun, as you would expect, after a rough reception and evidence of art theft in Marathon, morale is reportedly in free fall at Bungie. Quote, "The vibes have never been worse." Bungie aren't having a very good week, are they? First, there were those accusations of Marathon using assets without permission, which Bungie admitted to taking place. Then there was a live stream featuring game director Joe Ziegler and art director Joseph Cross, which was filled with chat messages about said asset usage for practically the entire stream. Ziegler and Cross did at least address those messages, but with the response to the shooter already being quite mixed thus far, it doesn't amount to much right now. Things also don't sound great internally at Bungie right now. Current and former employees reportedly spoke with Forbes about where Bungie and Marathon are at right now, with morale apparently in free fall across all departments. One source supposedly said the vibes have never been worse, and staff are concerned about what happens if Marathon flops, something the studio cannot afford. There's been nothing said about a potential delay from the current September release, and it's unclear at a lower level if those discussions are being had by higher ups. Of course they are. Those that spoke with Forbes also said Marathon was pitched by higher-up good old boy Bungie leadership, and as long as 5 years ago, team members were trying to explain what would and would not work. And this sounds about right. This sounds about like the way things go. Developers tell these CEOs and executives, look, this isn't going to work. People don't want this. This is going to be a flop. And they say, put it out anyways. This is embarrassing for these guys right here.
We're really excited that a lot of people are interested in sort of seeing where we evolve this game and sort of how we're continuing to iterate on it and make it better. So thank you all for the feedback. Thank you all for the questions. Thank you all for the sort of support and for sharing your feedback and opinions with us. It's all super valuable, and we've been listening. We're constantly talking about how to tackle it. We're doing a lot of things already to tackle it. We're sorry we couldn't show anything this week. Unexpected conditions came up, but next time we want to be showing you a little bit more about what we're working on, and hopefully that'll be exciting to see. But yeah, thank you all very much. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Poor man looks like somebody ran over his puppy right in front of him. It's embarrassing for these guys that they even tried to put this live stream out and somehow deflect or get people off their back from the criticism. It's like, guys, at the end of the day, you're just going to have to pull the plug. This is already a game nobody wants, and now you're being destroyed in your Twitch chat because people are calling you out for the cheating, lying, plagiarizing con artist essentially that you are. Then you've got from the game post, Bungie leadership ignored Marathon devs' repeated warnings and PvE requests, new report says. And of course, this goes back to what we were just talking about a second ago, where apparently the devs are telling these executives, this is not what people want, we need something else, and they're just ignoring them. A new report from Forbes' Paul Tassi, gives us a clearer picture of what's really been happening behind the scenes. According to Tassi's sources, developers at Bungie have been voicing concerns about Marathon's core direction for at least 5 years. Many repeatedly stressed that the game needed a PvE component, but senior Bungie leadership, described by some as the good old boy group, often brushed off those warnings and requests. This sounds like a lot of what we've seen with different games over the years, and certainly a little bit of that toxic positivity that sunk Concord, although from that side of things, that was more Firewalk's developers, I guess, having toxic positivity, whereas this is the higher-ups of the studio saying, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. Marathon was originally pitched by higher-up good old boy Bungie leadership, and as far back as 5 years ago, devs were telling them what would and wouldn't work. many have previously said it needs to have some sort of PvE component, and I think that is honestly a very good reasoning there. I think that's a great idea because most of these games, these extraction shooters, have a very limited appeal, and it needs something to draw in people who are not looking for a hardcore, really like extreme PvP experience. Again, I am totally fine with PvPvE games, but some of the extraction shooters just go so extreme that people, the average casual player, just looks at it and says, nah, I'd rather go play something else. This is how Call of Duty still has a player base, for God's sake. As gross as I think that is. I think if you're only looking for PvE experiences, definitely Marathon's not the game for you, Ziegler said. We're very comfortable saying, yeah, this isn't a game for everybody. This is a game for, like, if you like PvP experiences, especially in sandbox spaces, and then this is probably something you're going to enjoy. Well, unfortunately, I don't think very many people are going to enjoy it. Then you can see from Gaming Bolt, Marathon's marketing strategy overhauled, public playtest roadmap in the works, rumor. Bungie has allegedly pulled the plug on the extraction shooter's marketing strategy, which included releasing a new trailer in June. So if this is to be believed, if this is true, they have essentially walked this game back from where they were going to release in September to, if they're not even releasing a trailer next month, I imagine the release date for this game, if it is even still going to come out, is probably going to be postponed well into 2026. Because if they're going to have to overhaul art and gameplay mechanics and different game modes, and they are having this much panic within the studio already, there is no way that this game comes out this year, let alone September, which is not that far away, guys. It's a few months from now. So again, I think that this tweet here pretty much says it best from Legendary Drops. If Marathon releases this year, it will fail. First it was skepticism, then it was apathy. Now you've made people want to see you fail. Your own Q&A seemed like two guys have no clue what's going on, entirely directionless and unprepared. You need to start over entirely. I think, again, that sums it up, but you guys let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have two channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.